Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop. And today we're going to be doing a tier list, right? So pretty much we're going to be taking all the hoop shoes of the past year or shoes that you can still kind of get right now. And we're going to be categorizing them in tiers, right? So of course we got the S tier. The S tier is this shoe is absolutely amazing. I love playing in this shoe. And of course this list is just my personal opinion. And also if you guys do want to get in these shoes, I'll try to leave the affiliate link in the description box for all of these shoes, and it does help me out if you buy the shoe from the links if you do choose to get any of these shoes. And as always, thank you so much for all the support guys. But yeah, S tier, of course, this shoe is absolutely amazing. There's really nothing wrong with it. A tier is this shoe is absolutely amazing, but there's like one or two minor things that I didn't like, kinda, but it's not even that bad. Of course, we got B tier, which is this shoe's pretty good, but there's a couple of things that I didn't like. C is this shoe's okay, it's not terrible, but it's not great, and then we got D tier, or pretty much F tier. That's actually, can I change this right now? Yeah, let's change it to nope, don't get this shoe. So yeah, we got 5 tiers, and there's a lot of shoes. I think there's like 50 or 60 pairs, so let's try to go through this pretty quickly. But first we got the Puma All Pro Nitro, which is pretty much an S tier, A tier. I'll give it a solid S tier. Amazing traction, pretty dang lightweight, although it does feel a little bulky in the heel because of the foam, right? The cushion's pretty dang nice, upper material is really thin, so overall really nice, right? The MB3, nope. Did you guys see the MB4 as well? The MB4 looks absolutely terrible, but yeah, the MB3 literally feels like a boot. It's clunky, it's heavy, it's bulky, the traction's not good. It's stiff, you know what I mean? So the MB3, I mean the MB1 and 2 were super nice, but the 3, a pretty big disappointment. Next we got the AC12. The AC12, I give it a solid A tier. Amazing shoe overall, but the traction just wasn't amazing. It wasn't top tier. It was really solid, however, but just didn't have an amazing bite. Like top tier bite. It was a solid bite. And also picks up a little bit of dust, but the full length boom with the soft mesh strobe board was super duper nice. Upper material is really thin yet supportive, fits me great. So that's a solid A tier, right? Next we got the Liren 4. I'll give it a solid AS. I give it an A, because it does pick up a little bit of dust, right? But the cushion is the bounciest cushioning setup with the foam that you can get. So yeah, I love the cushioning setup. The upper is really thin. Overall lightweight shoe as well. Support's great. Traction is overall really good too. It just picks up a little bit of dust. So A, S tier, Next, we got the Fission 9. I give it a solid B tier, B or A, because it's just kind of high up off the ground. You know what I mean? And for me, I like a good amount of court feel. The traction overall is pretty good. If you let a little bit too much dust pick up, though, it does slide out a little dangerously. So just be careful on that. Upper material quality is actually pretty nice. Price is great. Overall, really good outdoor shoe as well. So I give it a solid maybe A or B. Next, we got the JB2. I really like this shoe. The traction is freaking amazing. It has like Curry flow level of traction. It's a really good stop. Cushion also, just like the Liren 4, is really bouncy. It's full length boom, but also full length carbon fiber plate. The upper is nice in quality, but still good ventilation and pretty dang thin. So I liked the JB2, right? Harden Volume 8, I'll give it a solid A tier. AS. For me personally, it's an amazing shoe. It's responsive, traction is great, cushion, under the cushion is really nice. Great core feel, great support. I love the inner knit booty as well. It's just, the thing is, it's a little heavy, or it's actually pretty heavy, and it's pretty bulky as well, especially in the heel. So that's, again, it wasn't a huge issue or anything. I could definitely play in it and still very much enjoy playing it. It's just a little bulky and a little heavy in my personal opinion, right? So there's that. Next, we got the Kobe 8 Protro. I give it a solid AS tier. I don't know, because it is a little bit heavier than the original Kobe 8. It's actually like 3-4 ounces heavier than the original Kobe 8. So I don't know where all that weight came from, but like the traction overall is really great. The cushion with the full length React is also really nice. And the upper really thin, very minimal. Overall support's great. So I feel like I give it a solid S tier. Game 1 mid. Yeah, this is from Serious Player Only. I don't know. I didn't really like this shoe that much. The traction was okay. The cushion overall is a little bit higher up off the ground as well, which I didn't like. Fit me kind of weird too, so I give it a solid B tier. But you guys already know the Player One Plus is an S tier shoe. Traction is top tier. You can't go wrong with that. You know, amazing. I've had translucent, I've had solid rubber, I've had all colors as well, and it's just amazing traction. Cushion low to the ground, not the best for impact protection, but it's adequate. Its overall support's great. And it just reminds me of like the Kobe 11 and like the Kobe 9, you know? All right, next we got the Dame 8 extended play, and wasn't a huge fan of this shoe, right? Traction, for me, it picked up dust, so it wasn't that good. Cushion also is pretty high up off the ground and very, very soft, which I didn't like that much either. And it's just overall a lot bulkier and also a lot heavier than the original Dame 8. So it'd probably be maybe C tier. I really didn't like this shoe that much, you know? I like the Dame 8, like the regular Dame 8, a little bit better even. So there's that. Next we got the Trae Young, and same thing. I really didn't like playing in the Trae Young 3 because the traction, first of all, was okay, it was pretty solid, but it's just a really freaking bulky shoe. Really bulky, and it's for Trae Young. He's a smaller guy, especially in the NBA, and he's a guard too, you know, so it's just really, really bulky, and also just not the most like fluid feeling shoe in my personal opinion. So a C tier for me. 8083 Ultra V2, and also all the 8083 Ultras, like the Ultra, Ultra V2, and the Ultra V2 Low, I believe it was, right? All of them pretty much an S tier, maybe borderline A tier, because it does pick up a little bit of dust, just a tiny bit of dust, but still top tier traction. Cushion also with the full length boom is really nice. Not the best for hard impacts because it's a little bit softer for the foam, but overall it's an amazing shoe. It reminds me a lot of the Kobe 9 with the drop-in, right? Next, we got the Dawn Issue 5. Dawn Issue 6 is coming out soon, actually in like a couple weeks, so I'm pretty excited about those. But Dawn Issue 5 is pretty solid. The only thing is the traction. The traction is pretty dang nice. It's just not top tier. That's why it's not S tier, you know? Cushion also with the full-length light strike, I believe it was super nice. It has a good amount of compression. Upper, also not my favorite, but it got the job done. It's really supportive too. And once you broke it in, it did get a little bit softer. It conforms to your foot somewhat well. So yeah, Dawn Issue 5, pretty dang nice. Book 1, same thing, A tier. The traction was really nice, picked up a little bit of dust. Also the cushion, it's just not the best for impact protection, especially in the forefoot, you know what I mean? So I didn't like that. But in the heel and also underfoot cushion is pretty nice. Also, lateral containment in the forefoot is not the best. You know, it's not terrible, but it's not the best. So I guess there's a couple things wrong. So maybe A, B tier. You know, A, B tier. You know, it's still not terrible, but honestly, I don't think it's as bad as the Game 1 though. So maybe I'll demote the Game 1 mid to the C tier, you know? But anyways, next shoe we got the GT Cut Academy. Easy S tier. It's also, I think, the cheapest shoe on this list for $95. Its traction is top tier. Cushion, not the best, but you know, it's low to the ground, and the Renew foam in the heel has a little bit of, you know, compression. Impact protection overall is pretty nice. So I really like this shoe, especially for only $95. Jaw 1. For me personally, I really like playing this shoe. You know, the traction is really nice in the colorway that I had. Also, the cushion I really enjoyed. You know, top loaded forefoot zoom unit has a nice little subtle bounce. Heel has a little bit of compression as well, which I like. Overall support's great. I love the foam in the tongue and also the ankle area. That felt nice. And also, it's a pretty dang lightweight shoe. Even though it doesn't look super lightweight, it's pretty dang lightweight. So I like that. All right, next we got the Zion 3. I give it a solid B tier just because it just picks up so much dust for the traction, and also the narrow fit, super duper narrow fit, you know? But the Zion 3 isn't as bad as the SE. The SE, I'd give it a solid nope. I don't think I put the SE on here, but yeah, the SE, do not get those. The Zion 3, I really like the cushioning setup, you know, support's great and all that too. So it's just the fit and the dust pickup that I didn't like, you know. All right, the AG4 Soar SE, I give it a solid S tier. I'm playing in it right now. I'm still testing it out, but so far I really, really like this shoe. The traction is amazing. The cushion also is pretty dang nice. The impact protection isn't the best though, so just be careful with that. But overall, it was pretty adequate for me. Support's great. I love the upper material. It's soft, it's comfortable, it's thin. So that's surprising, right? AE1, you all already know, S tier, easy. One of the best shoes of the past, I don't know, couple years, you know what I mean? So traction top tier, cushion I love, especially for underfoot cushioning, but it also has really good core feel. Support's great. I love how the upper feels on foot as well. It's just heavy, you know, it's not bulky, but it's heavy, so be careful with that. but for me, I really liked it. All right, next we got the 361 DVD2. I give it a solid A tier, maybe borderline S tier because the cushion. I feel like the cushion could be a little bit better in my personal opinion because the step-in comfort, they made the stroke board kind of stiff, but overall it's still pretty nice, responsive setup. The traction is really nice. It picks up a tiny bit of dust, but overall really, really good traction, amazing bite. Upper is really minimal, but also yet supportive. So DVD2, I think it's like 120 bucks, amazing performer. Next, we got the Ranger 1, and the only thing, or I guess two things that I didn't like about that shoe is that it's heavy and it's bulky. You know what I mean? But it's really responsive, just like the Harden Volume 8. The Harden Volume 8 is actually heavier, right? But the Ranger 1, I would say, is a little bit bulkier feeling. But, the traction's amazing. I also really like the outsole curvature. The cushion with the explosive drop-in is amazing. It has a nice bounce to it. I would say it's better than the Hardens in my personal opinion for the cushion. The upper overall is kind of thin, supportive, conforms to your foot very well. So I did like the Ranger 1. Next, we got the two-way V4. I give it a solid A tier. Again, traction is not top tier for me. So that's why it's a little bit lower on the list. If it was top tier, I'd give it a solid S, But it does pick up a little bit of dust. It's really consistent on dust and on a clean court. You know what I mean? It doesn't pick up that much dust, but just a tiny bit. And also the cushion's super nice. And the upper thin is supportive. So I give it a solid A tier. Next, we got the Crossover Culture Fortune, and I give it a solid A tier. It does feel a little bit mushy and also a little bit soft for the cushion. The heel is really, really soft. So it's one minor thing, but it was a little mushy for me personally. So that's why I'm putting it in A tier. But overall traction is really nice. Picks up a little bit of dust. The upper quality isn't the best, but it's okay. And overall it's supportive and thin. So yeah. Next, we got the Big 3 Future, and that's a nope. I really wanted to like this shoe. I was very excited about this shoe, but traction, not nice. Cushion, not nice. It's super stiff. There's no compression. The upper is okay, it's supportive and all that, but the traction cushion, very, very much a disappointment, and I really didn't like playing these. So there's that. Next, we got the GT Cut 3, which is an S tier. I love this shoe. It's just the only thing is that the fit is a little bit roomy for me personally, but not a huge deal again. The traction's amazing. The cushion is overall pretty nice, especially once you break it in. Compared to really nice cushioning setups, not amazing, but it's okay, And the support's great. The upper quality isn't the best for 190 bucks, but it's thin and supportive. So I guess for performance, I really didn't mind it. GT Hustle 2, I give it a solid A tier. The traction just wasn't the best, It wasn't top tier for me. Had a solid bite, however. And also the cushion's super nice. It has a full-length Zoom Strobel unit. Also has really good court feel for the full-length Zoom Strobel unit. And then the upper is really, really thin. Not the best for support. It's not the most supportive shoe, but it's overall pretty good, Next, we got the Hezi Low. I gave it a solid B tier. Nothing about that shoe was amazing to me, but overall it's a pretty good shoe. Traction was okay. Cushion, the upper quality is overall a little bit stiff, but breaks in kind of nicely. So I give it a solid B tier. Luka 2s, B or C. I don't know. I just didn't like this shoe. Maybe C. The traction was pretty good. Actually really nice on a clean court. I had a nice bite, but picks up a lot of dust, and I had a translucent outsole. The cushion also is super stiff. The upper also is really stiff, very rigid shoe, which I don't like. I like a very smooth feeling shoe, so I give it a solid C, LeBron 21, I give it a solid S tier, or maybe A tier. I don't know. The traction just wasn't the best for dust, you know what I mean? But if I kept up with my wipes, it was pretty good. You know what I mean? It's just if I let a little bit too much dust pick up, it started sliding around a little dangerously. But overall, really nice traction on a clean court. Cushion, Zoom Turbo unit in the forefoot, large volume unit in the heel, a lot of compression in the heel. Support's great. The upper's overall thin. So yeah, LeBron 21, I really like. All right, the 361 Big 3 5.0 Quick, I would give it a solid A tier. The only thing I didn't like about that shoe is the cushion. The cushion is a little stiff, you know what I mean? And not the best for impact protection, but traction is freaking phenomenal. Top tier traction. The upper is really thin. Overall support is great. And it's one of the lightest shoes that you can get right now, right? Next, we got the next gen, LeBron 21 next gen Amped. And I give it a solid A. I mean, I didn't really like the upper material because it is overall a little bit thicker, especially comparing to the regular next gen. It's thicker, it's stiffer, but it breaks in kind of nicely, especially once you really playing it a lot. Cushion, same thing with the LeBron 21. It's really, really nice. It is a little bit different for the setup, however, in the heel for the Zoom unit. But overall, it's a nice performer, right? Jordan 38 low, I give it a solid A. It's just the traction picks up a good amount of dust. and it wasn't the best bite on dust, so that's why. But the cushion overall really nice. Overall, really thin material. It conforms to your foot very well. Support's great. So just be careful on dust, right? All right, next we got the AG4. Easy S tier for me. I loved playing in the shoe. The traction is phenomenal, and also the cushion with the soft mesh strobe board is so comfortable and nice. The upper overall is thin but very supportive. The overall shoe is super supportive, but very pretty lightweight, so easy S tier for me. Next, we got the LeBron Witness 8. I gave it a solid A tier. The only thing I didn't like about that shoe is the cushion. Also, lateral containment kind of wasn't the best, like the overall support of the upper, but it was adequate for me. It's just the cushion is pretty doo-doo, so not the best for that, but the traction is pretty dang nice, right? I like the traction. Very good bite, All right, next we got the Shadow 5. The Shadow 5, I give it a solid A tier, Same thing as the Fissions. It's more geared towards outdoor use, but the traction overall is pretty dang solid. Picks up a little bit of dust, however. The cushion is a little bit higher up off the ground, but that's good for outdoor use. There's good compression. The upper material, like with the textile, is pretty nice for the quality. Fits me well. I really like the insole as well. It just really locks your foot down, especially with your socks. So I give it a solid A tier. Same thing with the Shockwave 5 Pro. It does pick up dust though. It actually picks up a good amount of dust, so just be careful with that. But if you're playing on a clean court, really good bite. And also I really like the cushioning setup with the soft mesh strobe board. It's extremely soft. So the Shockwave 5 Pro, pretty dang nice, just the traction performance on dust, right? AG4 Soar, I gave it a solid. I really didn't like this shoe because, first of all, the upper quality is not as good as the SE, and also the colorway that I have is translucent for the outsole, so it picks up a lot of dust. And also, I really didn't like the high top design. It restricted ankle movement too much for me, so it was pretty much a no for me in my personal opinion. Although the SE is just so much better, right? Next, we got the Zap 1 Easy S tier. Amazing traction, amazing cushion, especially with the soft mesh strobe board. Amazing support, but also the material is really thin, which I like. Great ventilation. So easy S tier. All right, next we got the Fresh Foam BB V2, and I give it a solid A. It's just the traction for me going forward. It just slid out a little bit. Even on a pretty clean court, but also on a dusty court, it slides out pretty dangerously. So I didn't really like that, but the cushion overall is super comfortable. I really like the upper as well because it's more like old school materials, but still thin and supportive and comfortable, right? Next, we got the GH4. The GH5 did come out, and I did do a review on that. So I give the GH5 a solid B tier. You know what I mean? It's because the traction just wasn't good, and it's not that it was like kind of still good. I would put it in an A tier, but the GH5 solid B. But GH4, I give it a solid S. It was really good, underrated performer. I really like the lacing system as well. It really locked your foot down. I really like the full length N2 foam, and the traction overall once you break it in is really solid, right? All right, the EQLZ or the Equalizer 24/7. I give it a solid A. It's just the only thing I didn't like about that shoe is the cushion, and the cushion is really nice. It's just a little high up off the ground, and just in my personal opinion, I like better court feel, but other than that, everything about that shoe is amazing. Support's great. I love the upper material. It's super comfortable. It's very soft, but yet supportive. Traction is amazing as well. Super consistent. So maybe borderline S tier. I don't know, but yeah, court feel. I mean, again, court feel. If I played in it a lot, it wasn't a huge deal, and I got used to it. So maybe I'll bump it up to S tier, right? All right, next we got the Zoom GT Jump 2. Yeah, B. The cushion's just too much for me. Full length Zoom strobe with that React in the heel. It's a lot of compression. Traction overall is pretty good. The upper is very thin, but it's a very supportive shoe. It's just the cushion is just too much for me, So that's why I put it in B. That's the only thing though, All right, we got the Curry Spawn Floater. I give it a solid A. The only thing is I'm not a huge fan of the cushion, and the traction just picks up a little bit of dust. But overall, really thin material, so pretty dang supportive as well. So solid A tier. All right, next Tatum 2. I give it a solid A. A or B? A or B? It's just that if you're playing on a really dusty court, it's just the Tatum 2 is really bad on dust. That's why. You know what I mean? And that's the only thing I didn't like about that shoe. Overall support is great. The material quality isn't the best, but I do like the textile material. It breaks in kind of nicely. The full length air strobe unit is pretty dang nice. I like that, but the traction on dust, and I do play on a pretty dusty court. That's why I'll give it a B tier because it was that bad on dust, you know? All right, Kawhi 4 S tier, amazing shoe, guys. I just had a little bit of lockdown issue with like the heel lockdown. There's a little bit, it's not terrible heel slippage, it just didn't feel completely locked down to me, but the traction is absolutely amazing. The cushion is also really, really nice and comfortable, and it has a nice subtle bounce. The upper is overall thin, but it's pretty dang supportive. Just not the best for lateral containment in the forefoot, but it was adequate for me. So Kawhi 4 surprised the hell out of me. Amazing S tier. All right, all the Currys, I give it a solid A. You guys already know, right? Giannis Immortality, what is this, the 3? Or the 4? Whatever it's on right now. I believe for me, I give it a solid A. You know what I mean? Like the cushion is just pretty stiff, but overall the traction is nice. The support is adequate, not the best for support, but it's adequate. Overall thin and minimal upper. So I really like that shoe for like a responsive setup, you know? Next, Zoom Freak 5. I really like this shoe. There's some people that didn't like it, but I liked it, so I give it a solid, pretty much S tier. Traction's really nice for me, my colorway. The cushion also has a nice compression in the heel, but also forefoot zoom-in is really nice. I like the upper material as well. It's thin, it's supportive for performance, but the quality of the material with that synthetic kind of material is not great. You know what I mean? All right, next we got the 361 Big 3 5.0 Quick Pro, right? So I put the Quick, the original just Quick in the A tier, but with the Quick Pro, it has improved cushion because it's using Quick CQ Tech foam, and it's really, really nice, right? The traction, amazing top tier cushion. Although it's not the best, it is improved. It has better step and comfort and also a little bit more compression in the heel and better impact protection than the regular Quick. Also really minimal upper, but yet overall super supportive shoe. So easy S tier for me. Sabrina 1, I'll give it a solid A tier. You know what I mean? It's just, I did pick up a little bit of dust, but I do like the overall cushioning setup with the full length React. Upper is really thin and minimal, but not the most supportive upper, but it was adequate for me. So easy A tier. Next, we got the KD17. It's easy A tier for me. I really want to like this shoe. Maybe I'll give it a B. I'll give it a B. Maybe A, in between A and B, maybe. But yeah, the traction on dust wasn't the best, first of all. And second, it's not the most supportive upper. And also not the most supportive shoe in my personal experience. The cushion also is pretty nice, but it's definitely a downgrade from the KD16 as well. So yeah, I give it a B tier, you know? Wade Flash, $100. And this shoe is S tier. Amazing top tier traction. Cushion also really good cord feel, but still step and comfort is pretty dang nice and has nice compression in the heel as well. So pretty dang nice cushion. The upper, this is also the lightest shoe by weight that you can get right now. And the upper has really good ventilation. It's super thin, but also a very supportive shoe overall from my experience. So yeah, Cosmic Unity 3 do not get that shoe. The Kai 1, easy S tier for me. I really like playing the shoe, you know? The traction overall is super consistent once you break it in. The cushion is really soft and comfortable, and the upper overall is really supportive and really comfortable too. Like the tongue and also ankle area has a really nice bit of padding, you know? So for me, easy S tier. Same thing with the AR1, easy S tier. Amazingly responsive shoe traction. One of the best tractions you get right now. The cushion is a little bit on the stiffer side, but it still has pretty good step and comfort because of the soft mesh dribble board. Overall support is great. And it's only $100, and the upper material quality is still pretty dang nice, you know? And last but not least, we got the Stewie 3. Don't get these. I don't like these. The traction was really not good, especially on dust. Picks up a lot of dust. Very, very clunky as well in the heel too. Pretty stiff, very bottom heavy, and overall pretty heavy shoe too. So I didn't really like the Stewie 3 that much. But anyways, I feel like I try to get every single shoe that I've tested that you could still get right now. Hopefully I'm not missing anything. But that's pretty much my oh, I got the KT9. The KT9, I pretty much give it an A tier. A tier. Overall, pretty dang nice. It's been out for a while though, so I'm trying to look around. I feel like that's pretty much everything, right? But anyways, that's my tier list. Again, if you guys do want to get any shoes, I'll try to leave the link in the description box. And also, of course, tell us what your list would be down in the comment section below. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of people that disagree with my list. That's okay. Everyone has different preferences and stuff like that. But that's my list overall. And that about concludes this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.